Yes.
Okay, just waiting some time, then let's start. Okay? Just going for 3 minutes. Criteria analysis for our study area. So translating the raw satellite data into the actionable hazard intelligence we try to discuss in here. And in this case, an automated pipeline for the transform raw satellite imagery into actionable hazard intelligence. So in the Google Earth Engine, we are just create the script. It operationalize an analytical hierarchy process, mainly ASP, and integrate the varied environmental data set, different types of environmental data sets, and standardize them in onto the 1 to 5 hazard class. Okay, so 1 is very very low risk, 5 is very very high risk, and mathematically fuses them to pinpoint this study area, mainly Kurigram, most vulnerable zone in our Bangladesh. Okay, so if you check, we simply apply different types of raw input, Landsat 8 data, SRTM, global surface water data. Okay, not only, also a lot of data, and then we simply create the multi-criteria threshold value. Okay, for every data set, and we simply synthesize and also create the flood hazard mapping. So if you check, we simply get the 5 distinct environmental vulnerability, drive the multi-criteria analysis. So this algorithm relies on the 5 distinct spatial parameters. Okay, distance, elevation, topography, vegetation, and witness. Okay, we simply use. For the distance, we simply use the global surface water data for the distance to water map, mainly fast distance transform and proxy to danger. Okay, suppose low distance indicating from the water, it's the high danger. Okay, and far distance, it's a low danger. Then SRTM DEM, it's a absolute meters unit, and it's a DEM data, baseline flow of water. Okay, so low elevation, follow the water. High elevation, not follow the water. Then TPI, topographic witness index. So it localizes the diffractions, the trapping water. Then Landsat 8, NDVI, so land cover resistance to the flood spread. Suppose if there are any vegetation, so this type of vegetation area, its resistance to flood spread, and also soil moisture, it's a saturation of the limits. So for this, I apply the NDWI. So if you check, first of all, proximity to parameters, water is the primary factor for the flood inundation. Okay, so if you check, if the water body is very close, then flood will be more risks, this type of place. So areas directly adjacent to established water bodies are the first to flood when the levels rise. The script uses the first distance transform to measure the proximity, applying the highest risk plenty of the immediate floodplain. So if you check, if this type of place is that less than 100,000 meter, okay, less than 100,000 meter, basically this type of red color from the water body, less than 100,000 meter, it's a very high risk. So this type of place is the less than 1,000 meter. Okay, so that's why it's very very high risk, this type of place for the flood. This type of red color. Then 100,000 meter to 2,000 meter, this type of yellow color, it's indicating about that moderate. Okay, so then if you check this type of place, blue color, so it's the greater than 4,000 meter, this type of place. So from the water body to this place, 4,000 meter, that's a very very low. So this type of place is the very very low risks for flood, because it's very far from the water body. The distance very far from this water body. So this, it's called the proximity to water. So permanent water body. So suppose it's my permanent water body, it can be river, or it can be any lake or pond, anything. So if the distance is very close, then very very high risk. If the distance is very far from this river, suppose this type of blue color is very far, so this type of place is the very very low risk for the flood. Okay, it's one kind of parameter for flood inundation. So then it's called the elevation. So if you check, so you can see the greater than 20 meter, 15 meter to 20 meter, 15 to 15, 10 to 15 meter, 5 meter to 10 meter, and 5 meter. So if you check from this elevation, different level elevation or height, so you can get the low elevation is the very high flood risk. Okay, low elevation, it's a very high flood risk. So it's a low elevation this area. So this area we find out that high risk of the flood, and you can see it's a high elevation greater than 20 meter, greater than 20 meter, okay, it's a very low risk for flood because it's a high elevation and it's a low elevation. So easily overflow the water. But water cannot overflow easily for the high elevation area. Okay, so this is another factor for absolute elevation for that flow of the water across the landscape. So we can see this the different height of the landscape, and if the elevation is the low, it's a very high risk of flood, and if the elevation is the high, it's the very low risk of the flood. Okay. Then if you check, it's called the trapezoid position index identify. Okay, topographic position index, topographic position index. So it localizes the diffraction of the where the water traps. Okay, the absolute elevation alone is insufficient. A high altitude valley can still flood. Okay, high altitude is still flood. So that's why we also create the topographic position index by subtracting the nearby neighborhood average, mainly focal mean, from 5 meter and specify the pixel elevation and isolating the distinct geographic diffraction. So if you check if the value TPI greater than 0, so it's indicating about the blue color in this time. So then you can see. So if the TPI value less than equal negative, mainly deep depression. If the value TPI value is the less than equal -8, it's a deep depression. So it's a very high risk of flood. And if the value greater than 0, mainly positive value, it indicating about the low risk of flood. So TPI, topographic position index, is also important for that. Then dense vegetation create the physical resistance to flood spread. Suppose if you check this is for vegetation, easily water move and create the flood. But for that high dense vegetation, water cannot move easily. Okay, so that's why if the NDVI is the high, it's indicating about the low flood risk area. If the NDVI value is very high, suppose 0.8, it's a low risk. And if the NDVI value is the less than 0.2, it's a barrel length, it's a high risk of flood, a very high risk of the flood. So that's the reason you also compute the NDVI and identify dense vegetation or barrel length vegetation and create the, it also help you to identify flood risk map. Basically, it's the dense vegetation create the physical resistance to flood spread. Then saturation. Saturated soil cannot absorb the additional flood waters. Okay, so you can see it's a dry soil and it's a saturated soil. Mainly moisture is very high for this soil, and it's a dry soil. Moisture is very low for this soil. So if the dry soil high infiltration, okay, dry soil is very high infiltration, but saturated soil, it's not infiltration. Okay, so it's a rapid runoff, easily runoff. Okay, easily runoff. So water easily runoff from this soil, not absorbed, not in a high, not infiltration for this type of water in here. So this is the saturation. Saturated soil cannot absorb the additional flood water, and if the ground is already wet, its infiltration capacity is near 0. Okay, causing rapid surface runoff. By analyzing Landsat 8, we can easily identify, and this algorithm compute the NDWI to identify danger moisture saturation. Okay. And you can see if the NDWI value is a 0.6, very high saturation, very high saturation. So it's very high risk. Okay, and then NDWI suppose negative 0.6 in mainly dry soil, easily water absorbed, easily water infiltration and go to the ground, and flood is also not happening. So this type, if the NDWI value is less than equal negative 0.6, it's indicating with the dry soil, and dry soil easily high infiltration. Water easily move to the ground of the water. But in this case, you can see water is not go to the move because it's a saturated soil, and water easily move and overflow the surface and create the flood. So that's why NDWI value is the high, it indicating about the very high risk of flood, and NDWI if the low, it's indicating about the low risk of flood. Then we also apply the cloud maxing function to remove the all of unnecessary pixel and create the better or clean satellite imagery, because flood time we find out the lot of cloudy pixel. Okay, so that's why just simply this type of cloud we still remove using the QA pixel. Okay, and also applying multiply this type of value and also scale to apply the clear pixel to get the accurate pixel. We create this type of imagery. And finally, we find independent hazard score stacked. They form a singular vulnerability profile. So distance, river, elevation, TPI, NDVI, and NDVI. So simply stack all of those together. And the core of the GIS ASP methodology is additive by overlaying the standardization 1 to 5 maps. The skip manually sums the every pixel in program for our study area, and low elevation, barren, saturated, and near water elevate the risks. So we simply total score. We simply apply distance plus topography, vegetation, witness, elevation, and maximum possible score 5. So total critical score is the 25. So we find out, you can see total score. So final class very high. So if the value greater than 15, then total score 10 to 15 high. Then 5 to 10, it's indicating about that medium. Then 0 to 5, it's a low, and less than equal 0, it's very low. So after stacking all of factor or variable, then we simply apply this type of range and identify, okay, this type of classes. And finally we represent the hazard map. So where is the very low flood, where is the very high, where is the high, then medium and low, we can easily identify. And finally special data converted into the quantable, which is simply compute the area. Okay, suppose how much area for the high flood, this type of things. Area, calculate the area. So further we simply apply this function e.image pixel area and divide it this value to get the result square kilometer unit. And a mathematical blueprint is scalable multi-dimensional register management, comprehensive, automated, and actionable. So let's go try to discuss about the code.